Hey there, it's Elizabeth, and welcome back to another flip through. Yes. Okay, so yesterday you would have seen the flip through of June 2022, the first part of it, and now we're going to go through the second part of it. And the second part of it is in my second journal for the year. What is on? I've got ink or something on my nail. So this is the second half of 2022. It starts June 11th and it's hopefully going to run through the rest of the year. We'll see if that happens. And the journal that I am using for this year is a Moleskine extra large lined, and I will put the link below. I will probably not decorate the covers. If I was going to decorate them, I should have done that at the beginning. So these are just going to be very plain, very plain journals. This is the first time I've ever really journaled in something. Actually, it is the first time I've ever journaled in something like this, using each page individually, you know. So if you look down in the description box, the first three links you come to are the various journals that I would normally use. You know, I first started out in the Fauxbonacci using an altered composition book, and then I altered that composition further by adding a spine, I think is in the second video, and then the third video is basically, I think, making a junk journal using the composition cover, but not the papers. So you can check all those three links below. I'll also put in a link to the flip through playlist that I have on my channel, just in case you want to go back. I have flip throughs from the very beginning of my journaling journey all the way up till now. So check that out if you would like. So now we're gonna just get started. Okay, so this was my, I mean, this thing is like so fat, so let's get you centered here. Okay. This is a card I found while I was cleaning my room for my great aunt, and then this is a sunrise. I did not write on the back. A sunrise of where we live. The beach that is right across the street from where we live. So I just kept those there. This, I just did an opening page to June. And to be honest, in the rest of the book, as you'll see as I flip through these in the coming months, I'm not sure I did all too many opening pages. Like, I just forgot to do them. Anyway, so this beautiful pair of galoshes, I just, you know, pasted on here, cut them out, pasted them on here. I just thought they were really pretty, and June was a super wet month for us. So down here, at some point when I finish the journal, I will put, you know, the beginning date and the end date, which again is something I've never done before. So yeah, so let's get started. This thing is so flipping fat. Oh my heavens. I'm just curious at this point to see how fat it is. It's at least 4 inches fat. Crazy. And like nothing has come out of the spine. So just so you know, this is what the spine looks like. It is a sewn journal, right? There's the stitching on the side. Yeah, it's held up really well. Held up really well. Okay, so yeah, feeling all the feels. Now on this page, this was like a Saturday and Sunday. Oh, I also want to mention in these books in particular, I have either done a weekly spread on, you know, a 2-page spread that has the whole week on it. I've done 1 day per page at times. I've done 2 days per page at times. You know, it's just all been however I wanted to do it with what information I had, what materials I had, and how much time I had. So yeah, some of the pages are finished and some are not, and I'm okay with that. So at this point in time, we were still living down south, and at our house that we had lived in for 20 some years. And so we were in the process of moving, of packing up and all of that. In yesterday's video, you had seen at the beginning of the month was our last day of school, and then I went right from, you know, working at the school with my daughter to coming home and just being busy every day, going through things, packing up, everything, you know. Ay, ay, ay. So here, yes, this is how I was feeling. I was feeling all the feels, you know. So yeah, it's, and then, you know, just thinking about moving, and we've never done a move like this before, ever. We have moved in our married life, but it's always just been like a few miles away from the last place, you know, so we've always lived in the same area. Yeah, so this was quite different for us. Although the area that we live in now, we are quite familiar with because we used to come up here all the time growing up, you know. And so, anywho, yeah, I was feeling all the feels, okay? And then I want to make mention to some of my all of my printables, in fact, I think, in this that I'm going to show you. So this coffee cup right here, the numbers, the days of the week, okay, this right here, these words right here all come from Loveland's life and her Patreon. So I will put her YouTube link below, and then you can go ahead and check out her videos, and then she will have, of course, the link to her Patreon. And then here, I just do my own lettering. I do not, I've mentioned it before, and if you're new here, welcome. That's why I'm mentioning it again, just in case you have not seen any of my videos. I do my own lettering because I don't purchase letter stickers. I just don't, because you always end up with this mismatched, mismatched letters. You know, they only give you so many letters and so many vowels and all that. So to remedy that, I just do the lettering myself, okay? I do it on regular copy paper. I write it out in my normal handwriting using, usually using like a Crayola marker, and I use the thick, you know, I slant it and use the thick bit, or I might use a chisel marker, and I just write it out and cut them all out. Is it time consuming? Yes. However, I, for one, like the look of it, and I can choose what letters I need, you know what I'm saying? And then I either put them through a Xyron machine, which is a sticker maker. This, I either put them through this little thing, which I will leave link below for you if you're interested, or I simply glue them on, you know? And yeah, so this day was like a bed day for me, and then it always seems impossible until it's done. Yeah, I was not having anything today. I've just been very, very busy. Okay, more of my lettering here, more of my lettering here. This was, I had started taking, I don't know why, but I had started taking pictures of the back of my, I had a Suburban at the time. I had been taking pictures of the back of the loads that we were taking to Salvation Army. There were so many of them, okay? At this point, this was only load 4, right? And it's just, yeah, just a lot of stuff. And then these are like pictures of different rooms. Well, all of these are my craft room, and I just have boxes and bins and bags and so much stuff, okay? And this was like our spare room, and it just was filled with stuff, boxes and bins and whatnot. And this was our used to be schoolroom, and it was filled with stuff. This little love seat right here, we were using as like the catch-all pile for the stuff that was going to be donated. So there's all that, all those, oh my goodness, it just, so much stuff. Okay. This evening I had some spiced almonds that were so good from Boston. My son and daughter brought them back when they brought them back for me when they came back from Boston. And yeah, the house is just a disaster area. That was, of course, part of why I was feeling all the feels too, because everything was just everywhere, and it was very stressful. So yeah, we just had, every single room has just random piles of stuff everywhere. And we were supposed to have a dumpster delivered to the house, and it was supposed to be delivered by this day before 6 p.m. and no dumpster was dropped off. So yeah, it was supposed to be a 2-day window, so I guess they were gonna drop it off the next day. And let's see. Yeah, and the other thing too is we were racing the clock because my husband was having hernia surgery soon. Great time for hernia surgery, right? Right in the middle of a move. Anyway, that's a whole different story. So, yeah, at that point we were watching Ozark on Netflix, I believe, and yeah, we were really enjoying it. And then I watch for my own little guilty pleasure when I go in to go to bed. I like to watch something before I go to sleep, and I was watching Doc Martin. Over here, my husband had a doctor's appointment. Let's see. Oh yeah, they were supposed to wean him off of some of this medication that you're supposed to wean off of, and nobody called in the prescription. They said they were going to, so he had no uh recourse but to go cold turkey, which is not safe, and I was very annoyed. But luckily everything worked out. So he went up to his doctor's appointment, and I filmed a video this day, the last video in my craft room, in my old craft room, which I loved. I love this craft room as well, but my old craft room was like twice the size. So, anywho, on the way home, my husband picked up the U-Haul that we were going to be packing up, and yeah, oh, okay. So the kids were over to the house this day. Luckily, they were available. We have, I mean, aside from our kids, we have no family, down there, and no real help, you know what I mean? So, um, yeah, so the kids were over, and we were so grateful that they were able to help. So, and it was so stinking hot out. This is my husband here. He was taking dips in the pool because it was so flipping hot. So my son and he were doing a bunch of the heavy lifting. Again, we needed to get all this stuff done before my husband had surgery. And yeah, most of the boxes were from my craft room. Not too much furniture. We ended up giving all of our furniture away, or most of it, I should say, most of it. And oh yeah, we had realized after we packed the entire truck that we forgot to pack the coffee table. Gosh. Uh, so, and the car was packed as well. So then both the kids left for the evening, and we tried to relax, oh my goodness. And this would have been my mom's 78th birthday this day. She passed away 10 years ago. So yeah, and at this point in time, I do believe we had moved our daughter over to our son's house. Yeah, so they're living together now, and doing quite well. So then the next day, my husband and I were up at 4 a.m. and my daughter was running late. She was coming over to drive my car up while my husband drove the U-Haul. I was a nervous wreck. Later, my husband would tell me that he was a nervous wreck because it was a 26-foot truck, and he hadn't driven something like that in a very long time. So and this happens to be like a picture that I got from a magazine, and then this is clip art right here that I just clipped out and put on the road. And then it actually ended up working out fine that she was running late because my husband just went ahead of us, so I didn't have to watch him, but like we were shortly behind him in case anything were to happen, So yeah, so we were just so thankful, and we were just going up, unloading, and coming back home. And so yeah, it was a long day, and it was a lot, and we were just so tired. We get home that evening expecting to find our dumpster. No dumpster. I was very peeved. Okay, we'll just and I had been contacting them back and forth, and they just kept giving me the runaround, and we had already, obviously we had scheduled it and paid for it and all of that, and I was so fed up. And if I had the company's name, I would tell you right here and now on YouTube never to go to them, but I don't have their name. I forget it. Yeah, so then this day here, this was load number 5. Oh my goodness, yeah. This candelabra thing like sat in my bathroom window. So many books. I had to get rid of some cigar boxes. This is like an air purifier thing. This pretty bag, my lap desk, which now I'm looking at it. I wish I hadn't gotten rid of that, but anyway. So on this day, we took a much needed rest day. Okay. We had packed the car again after coming home this day. And I think we unpacked everything. My daughter, my husband, and I unpacked the whole 26-foot truck in like an hour and a half, maybe. It could have been an hour. I don't know. It went very quickly. It was a lot easier to unpack it than it was to pack it, and she was great. She was so helpful, and we were just so thankful that she was able to come up. I'm sure my son didn't come up because he was working. So anyhow, we went and dropped off the stuff at Salvation Army, and then we went to IHOP because I'd been really wanting pancakes at this point, and I really enjoy IHOP's pancakes. And so we went, and it was very good. And my husband got this like spinach mushroom omelet with hollandaise sauce, and oh my gosh, was that ever good. So yeah, after that we came home, we did a whole lot of nothing, and then this is what in the fresh heck. And this is from Loveland's Life too. One of my sisters-in-law says that, and it's hilarious, so I had to put that in. Still no dumpster. Okay, now I am pretty much ready to choke someone through the phone. Okay, then on this day, my daughter was flying up to Georgia to go with the family on a family trip up to Washington, D.C. with her cousin and cousins and aunts and uncles and whatnot. They were all going together to celebrate our niece's graduation. So we dropped her off at the airport, and then we kept going up to our new place to see what we could do while we were there. And let's see. Yeah. Oh gosh, once we got to the house, we started humping the bookshelf up to the craft room. Okay, we live in a 2-story house now, and our stairs are very narrow and treacherous, and it was only my husband and I, like, nobody was here to help us. And yeah, so he probably overdid it, but yeah, we brought everything up, or the things that we needed to get up, and then we set up my room. And it was like a game of Tetris, folks. It was like a game of Tetris. And originally I had what I use as a desk right here is a dining room table. And then there was an old desk that was in this office room when we moved in. And then in my old craft room, I had like an L-shaped desk that I used as my sewing desk. And so we were trying the best that we could to bring in all the pieces. Plus I had 2 bookshelves to put in here as well. And so we tried, but something had to go, and it ended up being the L-shape desk that we had for my sewing table. So, oh my gosh, yeah, everything is like in here, literally like Tetris. It's crazy, but it all fits and it's all fabulous, and I love it. So that's what we did this day. Okay, that's what we did this day. And then I have like a whole heap of Sterilite drawers that I just started stacking one on top of the other. And it was just kind of not very sturdy. My husband was not liking that. And so, yeah, he was trying to figure out something to do about that. And let's see. Yeah, I would say that 75% of our stuff in boxes was like just my craft room. It was crazy. Yeah, I had kept saying when I was doing my decluttering and destashing videos that I was being ruthless, and my husband was like, you could have been a little more ruthless, honey. Yeah. Oh, by the way, since I'm talking about my room and stuff, I do have a room tour, so I'll leave that link below. The next morning, we decided to go into town for breakfast. We went to a place called Jan's Place, and because we had that IHOP omelet, it was so good, we had the same thing. We had a loaded veggie omelet with hollandaise sauce, and it was delicious. We shared it, and we also got some. One of the things that they do up here is, I'm going to cover that. one of the things that they do up here as a side, which is odd, I've never seen it before, is one of your sides can be potato pancakes, you know, like instead of home fries or hash browns or whatever, they serve potato pancakes, and a lot of places do that. So anyway, yeah, we went into town, and these are my bookshelves, and then this is where my desk is here, and then up in front of me is like a gallery wall, and this is the quilt that my husband's great aunt quilted many years ago. Yeah, so then we went to this and that just to have a gander, and that is a what's it called? Like a consignment shop. And then I have like an IBS issue. I know, TMI. But yeah, I was having some issues, and so that's why I'm covering this, because I have a really good funny poop story. Because for some reason, bodily functions crack me up. I know, I'm weird. So anyway, so that was that. Like I said, blank pages. So my daughter was sending me family pictures from her trip, and they were, at this point, they were in Jamestown. And then over in this corner here, my husband and I, we did go to Lowe's or something at some point. Yeah, we went to Lowe's, I think. And he ended up getting some shelves for the corner because it was rather bare over here, and I needed more storage space. So these are some boxes, you know, that I still hadn't unpacked. He did hang up my bulletin board. I hope you guys can see everything. And then on this side, he just got like these heavy duty wire shelving, a wire shelving unit. And then I was able to stack all of my Sterilites on that, and it's super sturdy and isn't gonna fall on anybody. So that was good. Yeah, so we went out and about looking for stuff to shelving, like I said, and that, yeah. And then he put them all up, and so that was really nice. And then on the way home, we got some pizza, and oh yeah, we realized that this place, it used to be called, like, I think it was called the Big Apple Pizza or something like that. And then now it's called Jensen Beach Pizza. And one of my husband's favorite pizzas, the margarita pizza there, is his absolute favorite so far. And so he was all worried that it wasn't going to be the same. Well, the owners changed, I think, but they kept the same cooks. So my husband was thrilled. Yeah. This day was a Monday, and we ended up heading home this day. Not really much to write about. Again, blank page, but I do have some notes right here. Will I ever go back and get these done? Probably not. Okay, probably not. In here, I have no idea what happened. I have no notes for it. I probably had notes like behind this pocket, perhaps, but I don't know what they were. This is just a note, a notepad paper that I just glued on 3 sides to make it a pocket. This here happens to be my first and only resume when I became a teacher way back in the early 90s. Yeah. For the public school system. So yeah, so I found that because we were going through, like finishing up at the other house, going through closets and filing cabinets and paperwork and just a whole lot of stuff. So I found that, and I thought, well, let me just keep it, you know. Here is load number 7. Load number 7. Oh my goodness. And I gave away like so many gift bags, but then I used the gift bags to stuff stuff into things, you know? So that was another load. And then here, I finally ended up canceling the dumpster. Oh my gosh, I was so irritated. We did get our money back. That was the only good thing about it. But what a nightmare. And then we just started a pile out front, which we weren't technically supposed to, because I don't know. The county has these weird things. Like, we get 2 free trash pickups. Well, they're not free. I mean, nothing in life is for free. You pay for them, but anyhow, you get these 2 trash pickups so you can build a pile of foliage or whatever the case is. Any junk, you know. You can put it in your yard, but you can only put it in your yard like a few days before you schedule the pickup, you know? And so it's kind of like, what are you supposed to do with all of the crap if you can't, and you have to schedule it like, 3 weeks in advance or something, so you're already collecting your junk. What are you supposed to do with it if you can't put it outside? Anyway, I mean, I understand why, because it is a hazard or whatever, but anyway. So, and let's see. Oh yeah, and then my husband and I helped him. He did most of it, but I helped him clean out the shed. He got it all cleaned out, and the last closet was cleaned out. So that's good. Then these days were interesting. They're blank, but I do have notes and I do know what happened. I doubt I'll ever go back to doing them. So, bad day for both of us. Okay, we were probably just wiped out, really wiped out, and I was feeling super anxious, and I texted with my girlfriend, and Sunshine came over with a buddy, oh yes, and his dad to take our weight bench. We had like one of these big, like, I don't know, like Nautilus equipment or something. It was out on our patio. It was like as tall as the ceiling. It was super huge, super heavy. We'd had it forever. My husband used it to work out religiously, but we couldn't bring it up here because we just didn't have the room. So, yeah. And then we were getting another load ready for Salvation Army, of course. So yeah, we were so happy that they came and took the weight bench. This has to do with the events happening in the world. And then I'm learning to thank you for my hard times and praise you for ongoing troubles, regardless of how I'm feeling. Yes. Yes. And that is from Jesus Listens by Sarah Young. And then this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so my son came over on this day. We had already gone through like a quarter, I think, of the attic space, and we had just boxes and bins and old kids toys and playhouses and Lincoln Logs and Legos and you name it, boxes of fabric, an old Singer sewing machine. I mean, so many things, boxes and boxes of papers and whatnot. One of the things that I found was my husband's like planner, right? He has always used one of these things, and this was in, let me think, this must have been 1990. I don't think the year's on here, but 1990. And on this day right here, Thursday the 15th, he writes, Eliz and I engaged. That's the day that he asked me to marry him. And I just thought it was so special, so I photocopied it. I have the whole book. I kept that but as well. So the sewing machine, probably because we had the Singer and I wanted to bring it because it is antique. This was more stuff. This was the back of our truck. These were the front of, like, our old Pack and Play, for crying out loud. My kids are in their 20s and mid-20s at that. I mean, oh my goodness. Christmas trees. We probably should have saved that in hindsight. There are the Lincoln Logs. How sad. Yeah. And if you're asking why, we gave away so much stuff, we want to live more simply, for one. The main reason, however, is that we just don't have the room. I mean, technically, we have like a 1-bedroom place now, and we came from a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-bedroom place. So, yeah. Well, really, technically, like 4-bedroom and an office, but in this house here, we have our master bedroom, my craft room upstairs, and then downstairs is one giant room with a fold-out bed, and it could be used as an apartment kind of thing because it has a kitchenette. Anyway, that was that. So, and then this, my son, he picked up a journal, right, a hardbound journal, and he started reading it, and I was like, wait a minute, is that one of my journals? And then my husband was like, honey, don't read your mom's journals, and so but my son was tearing up, and I was like, and he wouldn't give it, like he kept stepping away, and holding it close to him, and then he started tearing up, and he's like, he gave it to me, and it was the first and only entry in this book. That's why I just tore it out and gave the journal away. But it was November 15th, 1990, the day that my husband asked me to marry him, and I wrote about it. The magic words, "Will you marry me?" Oh, I started to cry, and of course I said yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So special, so stinking special. So, and just to see my son's reaction was so special too, let me tell you. Oh my goodness. And then this is hilarious to me. Both my parents are gone now, and I'm so glad that I found this and kept it. It was up in the attic, although in my bureau, in I have a drawer that I keep a bunch of cards and stuff in, and so I do still have, cards from my mom and dad. But this was, I wish she had put a date on it because I don't know when she gave it. But it says, "Dad says the check is because you're the only normal kid we have." This bookmark reminded me of you. We love you, Mom and Dad. Oh, that's just so special to have my mom's handwriting and just validation that I'm the only normal kid. So funny. So that's what that was about. Oh my goodness. Then this was super hilarious. We drove up to the North House and back again. So we filled my car to the gills again with stuff to bring up. And we drove 3 hours up, unloaded it, and 3 hours back. And let's see, let's see, started at 7:30, got there by 9:45, not too bad, unloaded. Oh, this was hilarious. So we're driving up and we had just gotten off on our exit, and I had been texting with my UK journal buddy, Heidi Hornsby. I'll leave her link below. She's such a sweetheart. And that's why I have this here, and she has a dachshund. So yeah, we were texting for some reason, and then like my phone was on my lap, and the sun was coming in from the window, and it was like blinding my husband, unfortunately. And so he reached over and took my phone and turned it over. Well, while he was turning it, as he was turning it over, he pushed the video call button, and all of a sudden I hear Heidi on the other end with her beautiful British accent saying, "Hello, hello." And I'm thinking, what is going on? Why is she calling me? Anyway, it was hilarious. Then we did a video chat, and it was just really funny, just all of the sudden. I'm like, "Sorry to barge in on you. Good grief." I thought she had called me, and it turned out my husband called her. Oh gosh. And then on Sunday, nothing to write about. My daughter had sent me another family picture of them being away. I found this just, oh, this was probably something. It says, what's your special gift from God? Determination. It was a game on or a quiz thing on Facebook probably. Okay, then on this day, let's see. This is going to be a rather long one because I want to get through the rest of the month. I'll try to go through quickly. This was on a Monday. This was my husband this day. I'm having one of those days where people's faces just annoy me. Okay. He just wasn't a happy camper this day. We've been moving. We were moving like literally 30, almost like 34, 35 years of accumulated stuff. It was, oh my gosh. And, when our kids could help us, they did. But much of the time, it was my husband and I getting her done, Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, cold turkey for about a week with my husband and his meds. I was not happy at all. We had some couch cuddles this day, just relaxing, watching TV. And here I was saying I was feeling better with each outgoing load, which I was. But now looking back, it's like, yeah, some of the stuff, I don't know. Like, these are all Matchbox cars that my son used to play with. And we asked him, beforehand, "Do you want these?" And he was like, "No, I don't know." Anyway, so this was, where was this? Oh my gosh, were we heading back up again, I think. That was another thing that was so stinking tiring, is that we were just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, taking load after load after load. And that's after we had already brought up the 26-foot U-Haul truck, okay? Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. So, no. Okay, no. This was when my husband went for his... No. I'm so confused. Okay, my husband had an appointment. That's what it was. So early start to this day. We headed to the hospital for his post-surgical labs. Okay, and it took longer than we thought, but still about 2 hours. Okay, now see, this was so long ago. My daughter was out of town. Now she was coming back into town, and these are the things we had to do before we went to go pick her up. Okay, now I'm getting it. So we were still 2 hours early before her flight got in, and you can't, you can no longer just wait at the airport. So we decided to go to IHOP and get a delicious spinach omelet again, and that was really good. And then we still had time to kill, so we went up to a 17th Street, and we just reminisced about the places and the trips that we had taken up there. Not really trips, but like we would spend our anniversary up there sometimes by the beach, or go to restaurants. One of our favorite restaurants is on 17th Street. There used to be a science museum, like an ocean. It was called Ocean World, so we reminisced about that. Anyway, then we also went to TJ Maxx because my husband likes to wander around there. And I found a planner. Oh, and he found a pretty comforter for our new bed. So, and this is our favorite restaurant on 17th Street. So once we picked our daughter up, we went to Carlos and Pepe's, and we had some chips and salsa there and some guacamole dip, and we had super nachos, which are so good. And then we brought home quesadillas and tuna dip and enchiladas and stuff. And I'm not sure if my son came over this day or not. Yes, he did. Sunshine came over early, and it was nice to chat with him. Yep. And then he went and got his girlfriend, I guess. Oh, no, he had gotten his girlfriend some cute things for their 4-month anniversary. It was so cute. It was so cute. Yeah, so... And then I sent a prayer request to the family because on this day, it was hernia surgery. Again, with my lettering, this is just a tip out of the 7-layer dip that I made when my daughter and I got home, because she thought that her stomach thought that her throat had been cut. We were so hungry. We were literally at the hospital for 10 hours because obviously we had to go take him up there for the surgery. He had to stay overnight for observation, and I was not leaving until I saw that man in bed and tucked in and ready for the night, right? It was the worst pain I've ever seen my husband in. Maybe? Pretty sure. Yeah. He was in a lot of pain. And one of the ways that to alleviate the pain was to walk. So we went walking a lot up and down the hallways. The nurses were so sweet because we were like right at the end of visiting hours, and they let us stay an hour later, and they let us both go up where normally they only let one go up. So we were really, really thankful for that. And I was so grateful and thankful to everyone that prayed. The surgery went well. Everything was fine. He was just in a whole lot of pain. And then when we got home after 10 hours away, yeah, I made 7-layer dip. But when did we get home? We didn't get home until like 7. Yeah, till like 8 o'clock. And we were waiting in the car because of the whole pandemic thing, you can't wait in the hospital. So we had, yeah. Anyway, it was a long day. It was a long day, especially for poor Remy because he was at home. Yeah, and so he was very confused that his master was not there. Yeah, and we just, we pretty much stayed up. My daughter made some coffee cake. I made 7-layer dip, and we cuddled into bed together and watched a movie. We watched Parent Trap. And then, yep, we were all 3 of us, my daughter, myself, and our puppy, were all tucked up in our bed, and we just put a random movie on while we fell asleep. Yeah, and I slept surprisingly well. Normally I don't when my husband's not here. Then this is the last day of the month. So this here, my daughter was leaving again to go over to Tampa for the weekend. Yeah, with a bunch of work peeps. And they were meeting at her girlfriend's house. yeah, to celebrate her birthday. So, oh, happy day. My husband was coming home. So before she left to go over to Tampa, we were able to go pick up my husband. But of course, like he texted at 8:30 to say, you know, to ask me if I was awake. He was ready to come home and I was surely ready to get him. So the discharge was set for 10 a.m., but of course he didn't get out till almost 2 hours later. So yeah, my daughter and I probably left the house at like 9 to go pick him up. And we just had to sit there and wait. So, oh, and before, now I remember, before we left the house, the power had gone out. Oh my heavens. Yes, the power had gone out. We were the only house affected. I don't know what happened. It was the estimated time to come back on wasn't until 7 p.m. Oh my gosh. It got up to 83 degrees in the house. We were sitting on the patio. We were dunking in the pool. It was sweltering. So yeah, we got back, and then this talks about like my husband's diet and whatever. This right here, exhale the, you know what, if you can read it, family drama. Not my immediate family, but you know. Anyway, my dad this day, first of all, it was his 79th birthday, and he had just had surgery on his wrist because he had fallen a few days prior. And yeah, so I just texted with Pat. I knew she's my stepmom, and because I knew, you know, my dad was going to be tired. He had surgery that day and all of that. So I didn't call him, I don't think, until the next day to wish him a happy birthday. I just knew he would be tired and resting. So texted with her, found out everything went well, and I was just praying for them and the family situation and all that. So there you have it. There's the end of June. Oh my goodness, boy, oh boy. It was a very busy month, a very stressful month. If any of y'all have moved houses, which I'm sure a lot of you have, it's a lot, you know, and that was my first time ever experiencing it to that level. So yeah, okay. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will be doing more flip through videos. Make sure again that you check all the links below. Anybody I mention is going to be down there, playlist down there if you want to see how I like journal normally. I guess you can take a look at those first 3 links down there that show you how I make my journaling books, typically speaking. And yeah, I will thank you for your time. I know it's precious, and I appreciate that you spend it with me. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and a wonderful week. And I'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye for now.